All right, so it's time to dive into your financial aid package. So, what is your bill now? And then what will it be later? Because both of those things are super important as you really understand how much your school is going to cost. And so it's not about how much the entire cost of attendance is, right? Because you can have a school that is $50,000 and they give you $10,000 and your bill is going to be $40,000. Or you can have a school that is $15,000 and they give you $5,000 and your bill is $10,000, right? And so it might seem like, oh, this school is giving me so much more money. They like me more. No, we have to make sure that we're reading this financial aid package the right way so you really know the true cost of what it's going to be both now and later. So this is what you're going to do. I hope you have at least one of your financial aid packages out. I hope you found one either in the portal or in your package that they mailed to you or something related or closely attached to your acceptance letter. So go ahead and write down the total cost of attendance. So you already know, go ahead and Google it if you need to. Write down what is the total cost of attendance for this school that we're going to work through together. Then you're going to look at your financial aid package. How much free money do they give you? So the free money is going to be scholarships and grants. I do know that you might have received work study, but understand that that's paid weekly, or sometimes some schools pay you bi-weekly, and it's not directly added to your bill. This is just assuming that you'll get a job on campus and that the amount that you make, usually the max is around $2,000. So you think about $2,000 over a year at school, that's going to be fun money, right? Money maybe to pay your cell phone bill, money to go out with your friends, money to buy, different things on campus or to go to games, that sort of thing. Some of you might be really disciplined to actually take that money each week and take it to the bursar's office to pay your bill. But for the most part, we don't include it because you won't have the full $2,000 until the end of the academic school year. So if they're asking for their money now and they need you to pay it right now, then that money can't necessarily be applied. So we're going to take that out. All right, we're going to agree to take that out. And you're going to put the total cost of attendance and you're going to subtract all the free money that they gave you. So these are scholarships, these are grants. If you know you have an external scholarship that can apply to this particular school, make sure the school is a part of the agreement of that scholarship. So if you got any particular scholarships from something like a promise program, but you have to be in state and this is not one of the state schools, or you have to be at a particular university that this particular scholarship is attached to, but you got it externally and it's not on your financial aid package, just make sure that this particular school that you're using it for can actually take the funds. So make sure of that. Anything you got outside of that, feel free to put it in as free money. So once you take out all your free money, that is going to be your true cost, right? So now what you're going to determine is, do I want to pay this amount of money for my college education? And so is this something that's worth it to you? Remember, that was the question that we asked ourselves before. Is it worth it? Well, you didn't always know what you were going to get in terms of a financial aid package, so you weren't sure. But now you have all the numbers. So now you're asking yourself, is this what I want to pay for this particular university? And again, you're going to multiply it by 4 because you have to do this every single year, or by 2 if you're, like I said, at a 2-year particular or a 2-year school. So what do you pay now? It's your cost minus any cash that you have. So maybe you saved up from your job. Maybe a family or friend has decided to give you some money. Maybe you had a GoFundMe, or your parents did a bake sale, or whatever they did to raise money. Maybe they have a savings account for you to go to college. Whatever that is, you can subtract that, because that's what you pay now. But I want you to understand that this is still about value. So that's why I have the cost as anything outside of the free money. The free money you could look at as like a coupon, right? So you got this coupon and this is a cost. And is this cost something that you're willing to take on, that you want your family to take on too, right? Because especially if they're contributing, you have to ask yourself that particular question. So that's going to be the cost. So what you pay now is the cost minus cash. What you pay later is any additional, if you don't have any cash, or after the cash is all used, now you need a loan. So the loan is going to be what you'll pay later. So yes, they'll actually put it as part of your financial aid package, it feels like free money. I surely thought it was free money when I was in school, right? Sometimes it was, I had a refund check and, school was much cheaper when I went, but I just remember getting a refund check and thinking like, oh, this is really good money. But it wasn't real money, right? It's money I'm paying back, right, in my loans. And so this is what you have to ask yourself, especially with the loans. How much do you need to take out in loans? Can your family afford to take out any loans if you're past the max that they will give a student? And that will help you determine if you can afford this particular school. And you have to look at, we already talked about this idea of, is it worth it? Is it worth loans for what I want to do, knowing I need to go to grad school, knowing the field I want to get into? Is it worth it? That's only a question you can answer. So if your loans, if they gave you, let's say, $10,000 in loans, it's not just $10,000, 10,000 times 4. So that's $40,000. So are you asking yourself, do I want to take out $40,000 in loans? Maybe you only needed $2,000 in loans. And for you, it's 2 times 2 because you're going to a 2-year school. Do I want to take out $4,000 in loans? These are questions only you can answer, but you have to know how to understand this package. Asking your parents, hey, they're requiring you to pay $10,000 this year. You can pay it in cash, or your parents can also choose if they can take out a parent loan. If I take out the 10 and you take out the 10, are we both going to commit to $10,000 per year for 4 years or for 2 years? These are the questions that really will help you. When I worked at a university for 5 years, I remember students really wanting to go to a school so bad. The school was fairly expensive. It was a private university. And we had some premier programs and things like, especially forensic science. So students were begging their whole life to, go to this school and to really hope that their parents could make it happen. And honestly, it was heartbreaking because parents would do anything a lot of times for their kids if they can. And so a lot of times what I would see is students would come their first year, their parents would take out a loan. And remember, parent loans, they have to pay back right away. You get to finish school and you get to have a 6-month grace period, but they're paying it right away. When you're in college, they're paying it back. And so sometimes they would do it and then life would happen and then they couldn't do it. And then you would always see a few students would come to me and say, Tiffany, I'm leaving. And I'm like, what? Why? Like, we just can't afford it. And unfortunately, at that point, they've already taken out loans for their first year. So imagine a parent doing everything they can to take out $10,000 for a kid their first year and you taking out $10,000 for you, only to not even see the end of that reward. So remember, what I want you to do is something that Stephen Covey, he is an amazing human who has now left the earth, but has wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he says, begin with the end in mind. When you go to the end of your journey at the school and you think about the cost that you spent on it or the cost that your parents spent on it, will you be happy with it? Will you be at peace? Will you have regret? Those are only questions you know that you can answer. I highly recommend you asking people, even if you're first in your family to go to college, if you know anybody that graduated from your high school last year, the last 2 years, or you have friends who have, siblings that went to college, maybe ask them, hey, how much did you take out in loans? Are you happy with that choice? That's something that you don't really understand until you do it. And loans are not bad, right? If you need to take out a loan, take out a loan. But I want you to understand the implications of it because at this point, you're an adult. And I'm teaching you what they didn't teach me, right? They didn't tell me the real implications of what it means to have a loan. It's funny, I actually told someone the other day, I took out loans because I was the first in my family to go to college. And I didn't know I was, low income growing up. And so I just assumed that when I went to college, I was going to be a millionaire. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to go to college. And then I went to grad school and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire. I can totally pay these loans off. It was not true. And I don't necessarily regret it per se, but I wish I had more information. So this is me helping you to have more information, thinking about it from the beginning, looking at the end and saying, if I don't decide to do this career where I think I'm going to make all this money, or I do this career and I don't make as much as I think, will I still be happy? And that's only, like I said, that's only a question you can answer. But asking yourself, what is your cost? Multiply that by 4 because it's going to happen every year. Or what is your cost and multiply that by 2 because it's going to happen every year for you. And ask yourself, is it worth it? And that's something that you'll have to do. So